data types in Terraform. So now, if you remember in variable, there was an argument called type. Okay. So if you want to restrict the user to define that which type of value you want to accept for that variable, then that you can do using type argument. Okay. So you can put a type constant. So that type can be string, can be number, can be boolean, can be list, can be map, and so on. Okay. So there are different data types. What you are seeing in this chart is a complete summary of data types. You only have to remember, I will say, 6 of them, not all, because they are linked to one another. Okay. How? I will explain very soon. First of all, there are two major category called primitive and complex. First of all, before I start discussing this, I hope you got an idea that where do we define this in here. When I am having my variables, okay, here I use an argument called type. Okay. And then I can define, I want boolean, list, map, object, set, string, tuple. What do you want? Make sense? So I can restrict that instance type should be only a string. Nobody should give me a number. Or if I'm taking how many number of VMs to create, I only want number. I don't want a string. So these type of constant you can put using this type argument. So now we are going to talk about all these types. I hope it makes sense now. What are we going to learn? Yeah. Now let's talk about that. So we have these different types that we can put. Primitive means we can put arguments, where directly simple data types. I should say they are simple types. Okay. Simple type made up of same types having a single value. Like string is having a single value. Okay. Number, single value. Boolean, single value. True, false. String means anything that goes in double quotation. Anything that goes in double quotation becomes a string. Hello. Okay. Terraform. Even if you put a number in double quotation, that will be a string. Okay. That is called a string. Number means numerical numbers from 0 to 9. Anything that you have. Even decimal numbers are also accepted here. You will have both decimal as well as non-decimal number. Both of them are accepted. Boolean means true or false. These are primitive. Complex means where you have collection. Okay, where you have collection. In general, collection means more than one value. Okay, so one value means we're talking about string, number, or boolean. More than one value means we're talking about collections. And let's talk about these in details first. Okay, see, first of all, primitive. Primitive means I told you we are talking about single values. String, sequence of Unicode characters. Number, whole number and fractional, both of them are accepted. Boolean, logical, either true or false. Okay, this is straightforward. So if I throw an example, like see for type string. So when I'm saying type string, if I put here, then the value for this will be given. If you try to give anything on the input terminal except list format, okay, will be accepted as a string. So string is a very complex data type. Honestly, I will tell you. String is a very complex data type because the confusion arises when you are saying type string and if on terminal I type 234, that is also accepted as a string. Why? It's because of ASCII conversion. Okay. So I don't want to go that deep. I just wanted to let you know that if you're saying type string, anything will be accepted except more than one values as a comma separated. How? Let me show you. So let's say here I'm saying type string. Type string. Save. So I don't have instance type. Okay. So now I'm going to learn Terraform, plan, apply, anything is fine. Now see, enter instance type, and I have given for instance type string. So even if I give number, this will also be accepted as a string because it will convert it in ASCII. So that is also fine. Later on, of course, that will give me an error because this instance type is not accepted. That's because of my product provider. But Terraform will accept it as a string. You can see it is taken inside double quotes. Now let me terminate this process. Now if I say Terraform plan or apply anything, if I give anything like this, enter, and if I still, you can see they are accepted as a string. So if I say yes, of course I will get error because instance type with this is not supported in the provider. What I'm trying to explain is when you have a string, literally anything will be accepted. And for understanding this, you will have to dive deep into the documentation. Let me show you data types in Terraform. And let's go to the official documentation. Yep. So these are string, number, boolean. So on official website, you will only see these 5, 6. You will not see object, tuple in detail here. Okay. But I will explain you that. No worries. Let me just show you the documentation link of a string. Okay. So you see an expression that directly represents a constant value will be accepted. And there is a very strong documentation for a string that is available here. You can see strings are the most complex. People think it's very easy, but they are very complex. You have to go, everything inside code will be taken as a string. It can be anything, here doc string. Then there are examples of other interpolation directives, white skip, white spaces. So that's a very complicated data type. But as a beginner right now, what we have to understand is just a Unicode character representing some text. That's it. That means something that goes in double quotations will be taken as a string. We are okay with that. Next thing that we want to talk about, type string. Okay. This is another example of type string. Number. Next example is for number. When we talk about number, then in this case, now if you enter anything except number will throw you an error. Okay. Let's take an example here. I'm saying type number. Although number will make no sense to this. Just hypothetically, I'm showing you. Type number. Save. And now if I say Terraform plan, and instead of number, if I give a string here, like I say 2, and if I hit enter, Terraform will throw me an error saying that argument must be a string. Yep, here you can see error in function call. The variable is a number. So call to function failed. It's because of our condition that we have added. It's making it a little bit more complicated to explain. Let me remove this. Let's make it simple. Save. And now let's go. So I'm saying 2. Yep. Now this is more meaningful to explain. You can see unsuitable value, a number is required. Why? Because I've given type number. So if anybody tries to give anything except number, that will not be accepted. Plan will fail. Okay. So examples like when you are asking user how many IPs to create, how many VMs to create, okay, how many IAM users to create. So wherever you expect a numbered input, you don't want the users to give numbers in format of a string like TWO, THREE, SI6. You want them to put a number. Then in that case, you can restrict it by giving type number. Because if you don't do this, then it will accept this also. And then later on will give me error. But while doing plan, it will accept this. So you can restrict your input by giving type number wherever you have these conditions. Same way, next one is Boolean, which is true or false. So whenever you are looking for true or false input, you can put type as Boolean. Now comes important data types, that are collections. These are important. Okay, collections. So in collection, first of all, we have list, map, and set, three of them. Remember, collection means the name itself identifies group of more than one values. One value means it will be either a number or a string or a boolean that we have discussed. Now, more than one, it becomes collection. Under collection, we have three of them: list, map, set. Okay. Now, question is, what is list? List is just like Python. If you know Python, list, this concept of complete data types, list, map, set, is very similar to Python. Okay. List means anything that is defined under square bracket becomes a list with more than one values, separated using comma, and you can access them using index numbers that starts from 0. Let me show you the slide. Next slide. Yeah. Lists are numbered values. Okay. You can see they are defined under square bracket. You use square braces, and then you have comma separated more than one values. And if you want to access the value, we use index number 0, 1, 2. So index number starts from 0. So the first value is indexed as 0, 1, 2, and so on. Okay. This is list. List means are calling about a list of values. Okay. Just like you go to list to do list of shopping. Same way we are talking about list of value. And the only difference is the list of value will be defined under square braces and they will be comma separated. Like Alex, Ajay, Atul, Charles, Pete, and so on. They will be comma separated. Now let's come to map. This was list. Next one is map. First thing, map is defined using curly braces. The bracket changes to curly braces now, flower bracket. First difference. If it is a square bracket, it is a list. If it is flower bracket, it is a map. I hope you got the first difference. Second difference. List, you have comma separated. Map, you have key value pair comma separated. You see, this is my first key value pair. I have a key, I have a value. I have a key, I have a value. Okay. So they are key and value comma separated. So I can have like key 1 equals to V1 and then comma key 2 and then V2. Okay. This is called map. Whenever you want to access the values of, so whenever you want to access the elements of map, we access them using the keys. Whenever you want to access the elements of list, we access them using index number. I'm repeating again. Whenever I want to access the elements, when I say element, it can be any value. Okay. So I'm being more technical specific terminologies I'm using. So whenever I want to use any element of my list, I access them using the index number. Whenever I want to access any element of a map, I access them using the keys. That's the second difference. Okay. Other way is instead of using comma separated, you can also use white space as a separator in map for better readability in this format. Like if you have it in single line, you will have to use comma. But if you're using in different lines so that you can understand it better, you can read it better, then comma is not needed. Comma can be ignored. The enter that you press, the enter key is taken as a separator. Okay. I hope now here again, if you have a collection, you are saying Akhil, like in list, this was an example of only string. Can I have a number? Yes, I can have. It becomes tuple. Same way in map, if you have a key value pair of different data types, which is allowed, then that map becomes object. Then that becomes object. That is why I told you some of them are linked to one another. You can see map or object. Okay. So if I have key value pairs of same data type, it will be called as a map. If I have key value pairs of different data types, they will be called object. Simple. If I have a list of same data type, it will be called list. If I have a list of different data type like string, number, boolean, that will be called tuple. Rest function is same. Whether tuple or list, you access the element using index number. Whether map or object, you access the values using the keys. Okay, sounds good. So this is object and tuple. I told you object is similar to map when you have different data types, and tuple is similar to list when you have different data type. Okay, so I hope now list, map, object, tuple is clear. So first, if I'm talking about list, then it will be in square bracket where all of them will be same data type. If I'm calling same data type means only numbers, then only numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, only numbers. But if you're saying Akhil, can't I have one comma a string here like Terraform and then again a number? So in this, yes, you can have, but then this will not be called list, it will be called tuple. Okay, which is similar to list, but the difference is we have different data types inside this. Same way, map and object. And I'm saying map, square curly braces, key value pairs. If this key value pair are in same data types, key 1, key 2, value 1, value 2, they are same. Both of them are string or number, they are called map. The moment you change them, one becomes a string, one becomes number, one becomes boolean, it will be called as object. I hope that makes more clear now. You can see on this slide, I have both the examples. I have an example of tuple where you can see I have a string, I can have a number, I can have a boolean also. So if I have all three of them, it will not be called list, it will be called tuple. Same way, if I am having a map with different data types like a string, number, boolean, it will be called as an object. This is another example of object. You see, I have an object. When I say object, it will be having key value pairs with different data types. I have a string, I have a number, I have a boolean. Like see here, there is a user called Amit. I have a number for him, I have boolean for him. Then I also have under dictionary, I have one more dictionary for him. I also have a list for him. So these all are key value pairs, but they are different data types. So they will be called as an object, not map. Okay. Now, one thing, yes, I wanted to tell you here. In case of object or map, the keys will always be a string. You define it in double quotes or not, it's your choice. What do I mean is left hand side, whatever you are seeing here, these will always be a string. You see, age, is married, company, is school, they will be always a string. You cannot use numbers on this hand side. They will be always a string. Right hand side, you can have anything that will change according to my data type. But left hand side, in case of map and objects, will always be a key. This is a very small but very important concept to remember. Great. Then we tuple just now discussed combination of, you can see I have a string, I have a number, and I have boolean. So that is why it is called as tuple. So this is a summary of each one of them. This is a string, number, list. With list, you have tuple. With map, you have object. Okay.
Thank you so much for staying with us till the end of the video. Now all you have to do is just click the link in the description below and you will be taken to this page. Now enter your name, enter your email ID, enter phone number and select on your preference. Now click on register now. Then you will be redirected to a thank you page. Now you can add this session to your Google Calendar or Apple Calendar, and I promise that this is something that you don't want to miss. So go ahead, click on the link and step into the world where learning knows no bounds. Till then, keep enjoying. I'll see you in the next video.